Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's a new look this week, and it's a very, very special holiday edition of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's our 130th episode, believe it or not, in 6 years. And we certainly are very, very excited about tonight's show. It's going to be an absolute pearler of a show. We've got two great guests. The Geelong Galaxy kick-started their Victorian Premier League women's competition of all days yesterday on Easter Sunday. And before we go any further, a happy Easter to everyone who is involved in the Geelong football community. That's right, Geelong Galaxy kick-started their VPLW campaign for the new season with a win, with a great win. And we'll find out all about that from the assistant coach, Nick Williams, who'll be joining us a little later on the show tonight. We'll also be talking to, this weekend coming is going to be the first Geelong derby in the men's State League competition. Surf Coast hosting Bell Park in State League 4 action. So that's going to be something worth finding out a little bit more about. And we've got the head coach, the senior men's head coach at Bell Park, MICHAEL SPASEVSKI, joining us a little bit later on. Not as long a show as we normally would have. Obviously, it's a holiday edition, and I'm sure people are wanting to get back to maybe just having a day off. But in the football world, we never have a day off. And as I said, it is going to be an absolute bumper of a show. There's a lot of junior boys and junior girls NPL action over the long weekend. We'll take a look at that as well as a few other things happening in the region, in our football region, as we start to get even closer and closer to the launch of both the juniors and the local community leagues, which will be happening in a few weeks' time. Folks, it is the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Don't go away. It's time for the news desk after this break.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Now, before we go further into the news desk, do you like this new look? We're trying to make it a virtual studio, so to speak, something a little bit different. Or do you prefer the old style? The new style or the old style? We'd love to hear from you, and pop it down in the comments section. Send us an email if you like, Community Sports Media Services. Community media, sports media at gmail.com. And while you're at it, tell us what feedback, what would you like to see on the show? What would you like to regularly see on the Geelong Region Soccer Show? We'd love to know more about what it is that entertains our viewers, entertains the Geelong football community. Well, let's have a look first of all at the results over the weekend. So let's have a look at the weekend results. First of all, on Holy Thursday, we had the round 4 clash in the Australia Cup between St Albans Dynamo and Geelong Rangers, played at Churchill Reserve down in Melbourne. Unfortunately for the Rangers, playing a team that was 4 runs above it on the Football Victoria pyramid, they went down 6-1. Yusong Sun scoring the only goal of the game for the Geelong Rangers. On Saturday, North Geelong Warriors didn't have much better luck against Green Gully, a team they played several times last year, both in the Australia Cup and also the NPL Victoria competition. A youthful Warriors went down to Green Gully 3-0. And yesterday on Easter Sunday, and we'll hear more about this game a little bit later on when we speak to the assistant coach of the Geelong Galaxy, Nick Williams, who'll be joining us very, very shortly. The opening round fixture in the VPLW competition saw Geelong Galaxy 2 defeat Banyul City 1, 2-1, courtesy of goals by Madison Rakic, returning to Galaxy after a bit of a stint in Melbourne, and Japanese import Namiki Yamamoto. So well done to those two ladies for scoring those goals. Well done. We'll also have a look at the weekend results in, here we go, the Junior NPL. First of all, it's the boys. On Saturday, both the games were played. North Geelong travelled up to Knights Stadium to take on Melbourne Knights, their sister club. It was, generally speaking, a pretty good performance by the Warriors juniors. Under 14s defeated the Knights 2-0. Under 15s defeated the Knights 5-1. And the under 16s defeated the Knights 3-0. It was only in the under 18s that North Geelong Warriors suffered a loss, going down 2-0 to their counterparts from the Melbourne Knights. Geelong travelled to Ballarat, to the Ballarat Regional Soccer Stadium, where they took on Ballarat City in 4 ties there. In the under 14s, good win for Geelong, 3-0 win. Then it was a 2-0 win in the 15s. In the under 16s, a 2-1 win to Geelong. And it was almost a clean sweep. Unfortunately for Geelong, it was a draw in the under 18s, and the result there was 3 goals apiece. If we have a look at the boys' NPL ladders, let's first of all look at the under 14s. North Geelong are in 5th position. Geelong are in second last position. The under 15s, North Geelong are in 6th position. Geelong in 10th position. We move over to the 16s. Have a look at that. In the top 3, we've got both Geelong teams. North Geelong in 2nd, Geelong in 3rd. Now, if the situation stays as is, we've had 9 rounds of grading matches. In total, there are 11. So if things stay as is for the next 2 rounds, both Geelong and North Geelong will be competing in the under 16s Division 1 competition. Fantastic achievement for both the Geelong teams if they can achieve that. In the under 18s, North Geelong are in 5th position and Geelong are in 10th position. If we then have a look at the results of the junior girls NPL competition, Geelong Galaxy came up against Southern United. The under 13s defeated Southern United 2-0. The under 15s defeated Southern United 3-2. Well done, ladies. And in the under 17s, unfortunately, the Galaxy went down narrowly to Southern United 1-0. So if we have a look at the girls ladder, the girls junior NPL ladder. So first of all, the under 13s, Galaxy at the moment find themselves in 6th position. Likewise in the under 15s as well. And then the under 17s, they find themselves in 8th position at the moment, the way things stand. If we look to next week's competition games, or this weekend coming up in the Junior Girls NPL, it's the round 8. On Saturday, Box Hill United are hosting Geelong Galaxy, all those games at Wembley Park. As far as the boys are concerned, it's round 10. So it's the penultimate round in the grading phase. Remember, there are 11 rounds altogether. So this Sunday, April the 7th, North Geelong will host St Albans Dinamo in the big Croatian derby at Alco Park. Meanwhile, not far from them, down in Norlane, Geelong Soccer Club will host Caroline Springs George Cross. So 2 crucial games coming up for our representatives in the Junior Boys NPL competition. let's have a look at the weekend fixtures as well in the state leagues, first of all. So State League 1, both Corio and Geelong are away. So Clifton Hill hosts Corio, Sydenham Park taking on Geelong in the big Macedonian derby. That's on Saturday. At Myers Reserve in State League 2 action, Geelong Rangers host Westvale Olympic. They'll certainly be looking to put that result in the Australia Cup, that defeat in the Australia Cup behind him, and they will focus on this all-important clash at home this coming Saturday. Kick-off, of course, at 3 p.m. In State League 4, Barn heads out to Barnstoneworth United. That says Grovedale Reserve. It should actually be JT Gray Reserve in Williamstown. But the big game, Surf Coast hosting Bell Park. That's at Banyule Warrior Reserve, 5 p.m. We made a mistake there. Bell Park should all be in uppercase, not lowercase. State League 5 action, Gisborne hosts our Surfside Waves. Bendigo City, one of the tournament favourites, taking on Lara United in what could be described as an early grand final. Both these teams will be vying for a championship contention and promotion to State 4. And then last but not least, Deakin Ducks hosting Ballarat. That game is going to be at Deakin Uni, Warm Ponds. Victorian Premier League action this weekend. North Geelong Warriors host Preston Lions at Alco Park on Saturday. Round 8 fixture there in the VPL men's competition. A huge crowd is expected. The Preston Lions, who have already been awarded, I guess, a spot in next season's National Second Division, have on average a crowd of 3,000 to 4,000 at their home games, and there'll be a very, very large travelling contingent, no doubt, on Saturday. So if you're after a big crowd, great atmosphere, and no doubt some very, very good football, come down to Alco Park at 3 p.m. On Sunday, Geelong Galaxy are away to Keilor Park, and that game will be played at Keilor Park Recreation Reserve. That's at 3 p.m. kickoff, and as we keep on saying, we will find out a little bit more about that, what is going to be involved with that, when we speak to our first guest, and that will be the assistant senior head coach, or the assistant senior coach, Nick Williams, and he'll be joining us very, very shortly. Now, if we have a look at the ladder of the VPL 1 competition, all the other games have just had one round of matches played, so this one has had 7 rounds at the moment. North Geelong really looking precariously dangerous in the bottom spot. 7 games, 7 losses, and a miserable goal difference of -17. Can that be turned around this Saturday? Well, we certainly hope for Warriors fans that will be the case. And last but not least, one of our sponsors, our regular sponsors, Curva Coaching. Well, they kickstart their holiday camp tomorrow. From the second through to the 4th, the camps will be at Geelong College. Then the roadshow moves to Lawn over the 4th and the 5th of April. And then Torquay will host this early next week on the 8th, 9th and the 10th of April. So if you're still hoping to maybe sign your child up, there's the website, curva.com.au. The phone number is 0423975569, and the email is geelong@curva.com.au. And it was announced just today that former Ajax Amsterdam player Sebastian Pasquale will be joining as a special guest at the camps. Having played at Ajax Amsterdam, Pasquale also has a very good insight into the Curva methods that are utilised at that club. So he will be one of the celebrity guests, I guess, guest coaches that will be involved at the Curva coaching. So, folks, definitely jump onto that website, curva.com.au, if you'd like more information, or if you'd like to register your child for that, which kicks off tomorrow. Okay, that's it for the news desk. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we do return, it's time for our first guest, and we will be speaking to the Geelong Galaxy FC assistant senior coach, Nick Williams, who will be talking about the big game that happened yesterday and also the even bigger game coming up this weekend in the VPLW competition. Folks, don't go away. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Fantastic service, food and coffee, well-stocked produce and groceries at very reasonable prices.
5 stars for the coffee served, beautifully made latte, everything you need in this wonderful little shop. Staff are always friendly and helpful, an absolute treasure to the community. These are just some of the glowing comments of praise by both regular and first-time customers of the iconic Birregurra General Store. The De Kunto family, well known in Geelong football circles, has run the iconic Country General Store since 2020, and apart from providing top quality service, they, along with their extremely pleasant and friendly staff, make sure that everything you could possibly need is well stocked and always available. Located at 59 to 61 Main Street in Birregurra and open all 7 days a week, the Birregurra General Store is open from 6am each weekday and 7am on weekends. If in Birregurra, pop in and say hello to Steve and Angus. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and it is time for our very, very first guest, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the program. He is the assistant senior coach at Geelong Galaxy, Nick Williams. Nick, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for having me on, Tonchi. I really appreciate the opportunity, mate.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you coming on what is a public holiday, and I guess everyone would be quite more happy to just sit back, relax, switch off. But thank you very much for coming on. We really do appreciate it, mate. Yesterday, good win. How did you see the game unfold? 2-1 win against Banyule City.
Yeah, great win. It's always great to start the season with 3 points. We had the opportunities to put it away fairly early, but we didn't strike when we could have. And Banyule, as we thought they would be, were a very, very experienced, obviously very well-trained side, and they really made us work for it right until the end whistle. So, yeah, good start, but lots to work on.
There's some footage there, courtesy of Branko Kristevski. So we thank Branko very much for providing some of this footage there as well. But it must have been really tough, and kudos to everyone at the club and to the opponents as well. Fronting up on Easter Sunday when you'd rather spend time with family and friends and just switch off. And whoever does it at competitions at Football Victoria, geez, they really, really, I don't know what's the word to describe it, but it is unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you sort of learn never to be surprised by these sorts of things when dealing with Football Victoria.
Yeah.
But we knew a while ago that we were going to be playing Easter Sunday, so we had all our girls prepared and ready to go. They'd spoken to their families, partners, all that sort of stuff, and had the discussions early, so we were lucky to field a full-strength team.
Yeah. Well done. And speaking of the full-strength team, you've got some really, really good players. Madison Rakic, one of the returnees, she had a bit of a break and now she's back. She must be a real boost to the team, as is the Japanese import, the young lass that scored the second half goal there as well. Yeah,
Namiki is a absolutely phenomenal player. She can do pretty much about everything on the football field. Nothing more we could ask from her. And to have Maddie back, it's absolutely phenomenal. I was able to coach Maddie when she was at Galaxy the first time. Mm-hmm. She was still in high school. She was training every day of the week, playing multiple games every week, and still a phenomenal player. So she's come back with NPL experience, and she's just on top of her game right now. So, yeah. Big things to come from Maddie this year.
Yeah, excellent. And I was speaking to John Diaz, the coach there, just off air the other day, actually would have been, I think, over the weekend. And he was just saying, look, he's really been impressed with some of the level of the new recruits, but also the young players coming up through the ranks. Who have been in pre-season, who have been some of the standouts that you're expecting a big season of from in 2024?
I expect big things from everyone coming in, but I'm going to look at the players that we came through the Galaxy Junior system. So Liesl Hutter has had a phenomenal pre-season, won the best in competition at the Geelong Cup. She's due for a breakout season. And our club captain, Emily Girolamo, has been phenomenal as well, leading our backline last season and has found another level so far this year.
Now, am I right in saying she's only 18 years of age? That's an incredible
thing. Emily's just turned 18. Wow. She's our club captain for a reason. natural leader. Big things to come.
Yeah, certainly a young lass who will become a household name, Emily Girolamo. Monica D'Alessandro, the vice captain there, she's crossed over from Lara, but she also had a bit of a stint up in Melbourne playing at, I think it was Calder United, if not mistaken. But tell us a little bit how she's fitted into the team as well.
Yeah, Monica had a season with Melbourne University.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. She trained with us before the COVID season where we didn't get to play. So she's already a friend of the club. We know what she can and can't do, but she's phenomenal as well. She's leveled up her game in the 5 years since we last worked together, and having that experience in the back line, it's just someone to lean on for Emily and the younger girls. It's been really good.
Yeah, no, well, good win first up, Banyule City.
Great start.
They're always a tough team, but now focus turns, all the attention turns to this week's round 2 clash against Keilor Park at Keilor Park Reserve. That's right.
Yep.
One of the tougher teams. They're certainly always thereabouts, but they're one of the tougher teams. You can always expect they're going to be always aiming for the top half of the competition by season's end. Do you know much? Have they recruited, well? Have they lost players? Do we know anything about this team?
Well, Keilor Park's always been strong. We've always played them pre-season games. We've had them in a cup game before. So we know what to expect there. And just by looking at their results over the weekend and the players that they've recruited phenomenally. 5-1 win first round against always tough South Yarra. They're going to be tough to beat, especially to beat at home. So, but before our game against Keilor on Sunday, we have Bundoora United in the Nike Cup on Wednesday night. So 3 newly promoted teams in 7 days is going to be a bit of a challenge, but we're up for it.
Yeah, and that's going to be at home, is it?
At home, yeah, with the 7:30 kickoff. If anyone wants to come down and watch some top quality female football.
There you go. So, folks, obviously next week, Galaxy are away. You won't be able to see them in action, but you will be able to see them in action this Wednesday night, Hume Reserve, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Now, if there's one reason to go and see Galaxy this year is a new Irish import who actually dons the blue and white hoops for the Geelong AFLW team. And in the off-season, she's keeping herself fit by playing football, the real football, the proper football, with Galaxy. Rachel Kearns, tell us more about this. This is an amazing coup. How did Galaxy snap up Rachel?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I went out and found her and recruited her and all that stuff, but she found us. And that was just like one of those once-in-a-career things when you get an athlete of that caliber to find you. She was a professional level real football player in Ireland, as well as a Gaelic footballer as well. Obviously, we don't have a Gaelic football team in Geelong, or she would probably have went and played with them. But she's coming to play with us.
Don't tell anyone about him. Apparently, there is.
Oh, well, it's news to me as well.
I think they're up at Hurst Reserve, if I'm not mistaken. But let's keep it on the hush hush.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. She's phenomenal. It's having a professional athlete in with these young girls is it's something that you can't measure how much good it's doing for us. Just the levels of the training, the focus, looking after your body, all that sort of stuff. We couldn't buy that experience.
Yeah. Now, how old is Rachel?
I'm not going to take a guess at that. Yep. Sorry, Tonchi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Now,
I'd like to keep her happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is there any chance that she will be playing for the whole season, or will she only be playing for part of the season until her AFLW commitments come calling?
It looks like the AFL will come first, so we won't have her for a full season. But of course. But we work on that at every training session. If we ask the question enough, maybe we'll get the answer we want.
Yeah. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. Rachel Kearns, the Irish AFLW player, plus, as we've spoken, some very, very exciting players But just judging by some of those highlights there that we saw, Maddie Rakic having her back in, she scored 1 goal, assisted with another. She's going to be an absolute boost. Speaking of the team, speaking of the 2024 campaign, what's the goal? I mean, obviously, it's always to finish as high as possible on the competition ladder, but promotion to NPLW, is that something that's firmly on the radar?
Promotion's always the goal. Last season, we feel like we could have done it. We dropped some points where we shouldn't have. But yeah, we could have done it. And this year it looks realistic as well. The quality of the competition in general is just getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we want that promotion. We're going to work hard. If any of these teams are going to beat us, they're going to have to come and they have to do their very, very best, because that's what we're out here to do as well.
Yeah. Well, mate, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. We really, really appreciate it. We've got a very good, insight into Geelong Galaxy. And let me just say, they look very resplendent in those new blue kits as well. They look absolutely
they look phenomenal. Yeah, I agree. Too easy.
Go on.
Thanks for having me on, Tonchi. Yeah, great to come on and talk about the club I love. So, yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. To you and to John, you seem to be doing a great job there. Keep it up, and we'll look forward to touching base throughout the season and certainly following the fortunes of Geelong Galaxy in 2024.
Too easy. Thank you very much, mate.
Good on you. That was Nick Williams, the senior assistant coach at Geelong Galaxy. As he mentioned, they will be in action on Wednesday night against Bundoora United, newly promoted from last year's State League 1. And that will be at Hume Reserve at 7:30 p.m. So some midweek football under lights. Do get yourself down to Hume Reserve for what should be an absolute fantastic cup game. Speaking of cup games, Mill Park will be hosting our Deakin Ducks, and KC Comets will be taking on our Surf Coast in round 3 of the Nike FC Cup. So we don't have fixture details for those games. So if anyone from the Deakin Ducks or Surf Coast women's teams is tuning in the comments section, do pop it down. When are your teams playing next in Nike FC Cup? If it's this weekend coming or next week, we'd love to know so that we can give those games a bit of a plug. They are away though. Deakin Ducks do travel to Mill Park and Surf Coast does travel to KC Comets. Nonetheless, we'd still love to know. Folks, when we return, we'll be shifting our attention to men's State League 4 action and the big Geelong derby this weekend when Surf Coast hosts Bell Park at Banyulwarri Reserve on Saturday at 5 p.m. And to find out all about that and to find out all about his team so far this season, we're going to be speaking to the senior men's head coach at Bell Park Sports Club, MICHAEL SPASEVSKI, who also will give us a bit of an insight into the fantastic new club rooms or change rooms that are being constructed up at Batesford, and we'll find out how much longer before they're in action. Folks, don't go away. That's all coming up straight after this break on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, folks. So we hope you're enjoying this Easter Monday holiday edition of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And are you liking the new look? Tell us. We'd love to know in the comments section. Do you prefer this look or do you prefer the old look? That one. Or do you prefer the new look? Let us know what you think. Big shout out to everyone that is tuning in tonight. Santino Mamone, how are you, my friend? He's regularly there, always there. We've got a few other people there as well. Steve Tanich, Veshko Bigovic, Joey G, the usual suspects. jumping on board. It's great to see, and we'd love to hear from those people that, tune in, but we don't really hear from them. Like I said, are you from Surf Coast or from Deakin Ducks? Let us know when your senior women's teams are taking part in the Nike FC Cup Round 3. In the meantime, it is time now for our second guest, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome back to the show someone who has been on this show in previous years. He's the senior men's head coach at Bell Park Sports Club, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome MICHAEL SPASEVSKI to the show. MICHAEL, good evening. How are you?
I'm great, Tunchi. How are you?
Very well, mate. Very well. Happy Easter. How was your Easter? Did you have a good time with the family and manage to sort of switch off for a little bit?
Yeah, it was great. Great little break, 4 days, family time, bit of food and drink as you do, and a little bit of a break from football as well. And we'll get back into it tomorrow night. So, yeah, it was a good break. Yeah, and by the way, the new look is better than the old look, Tonchi.
There we go. Yeah. Thank you very much for your feedback. Now, MICHAEL, yes, State League men's, we'll talk about the derby shortly, but last week's result wasn't probably the ideal result that you wanted, unfortunately, against Moonee Ponds United, a 0-2 loss on the road. A very youthful side. First of all, how did you see that game?
Yeah, look, I think, as you said, not the result we would have liked for first up. But there was a lot of good parts to take away. I think where we failed was probably when we got the ball to our final third, and we just weren't able to convert that into meaningful chances. We went 1-0 down in the first 2 minutes to a long-range shot, which isn't the ideal way to start the season. So you're chasing the game from the first 2 minutes. But I think our build-up play, what we're trying to do, what we've been doing in pre-season has been good. In that particular game, it was just that challenge to create some of those chances and get the goal so that we could then chase the game.
Yeah, we've spoken to Dale Harris. We've spoken to, I think, off air, I've actually spoken to the folks at Surf Coast as well. It is going to be such a tough league. There's been some a huge recruiting happening, both from the local clubs, but also some of the clubs in Melbourne, Keilor Wolves, Balmoral FC, just to name a few, Melton Phoenix. Are you excited by the level of competition and the ferocity of competition, mate? Or is it quite daunting in a way?
No, it's exciting. I mean, I agree. I think this season's going to be one of the toughest by far for a number of years in Division 4 West. So, there's been a lot of recruitment, on the grapevine. You hear what other clubs are doing, you get your ear to the ground and all that type of thing. So a lot of teams have been investing in their squads, bringing in some experienced players, and, that's what we're going to have to come up against. We're probably going about it a little bit differently. We're looking at, bringing in some talented youthful kids, utilising and retaining some of our players from last year. We've been able to retain a good solid group from last year, and build on what we did last year. So my focus is to always have a look at the previous season. First aim is to improve, do better than the year before. I think we had some good patches last year. We went from 10th to 7th, probably could have finished a little bit higher. We took points from, I think, at least 4 of the teams above us last season, beat Leverton away. So, there were really good patches there. But we've just got to do that more consistently. And we've got to give some of these guys in our team time to mature and build that experience. Really excited about the year.
Yeah, we'll talk about some exciting things happening off the field very shortly. But let's talk about the squad. Who would name some of the new recruits that have come to the club this year?
Yeah, look, like I said, we've been able to bring in a couple of or a number of younger boys. So Xander Milanovic has come in, Nick Giorgio, Alex Pino, Alex Costoso, Oliver Di Giandomenico. They're all teenagers still, so they've all come in and have contributed to the squad. Lockie Santoro's come back from having a bit of a spell. And Tobias Koji has come in and joined us as well as one in the defensive group. So the majority of those players are in our defence and up front. I guess what it's allowed me to do is utilise other players in the squad in different sorts of positions, being able to do that. And so this year I think I'll be, rotating some people into different sorts of positions than they played last season, and utilising what we've been able to bring in. But in addition to that, our reserve team is really young. We've got 15, 16 players, all 19 or younger in that reserve team.
Wow.
So really youthful reserve team, but they're doing great. They've been having a really good pre-season, and there's a couple of young boys there who I think might, put their hands up for a look in that senior squad as well at some point.
Now, from the outside looking in, Michael, it sort of seems to me that, I mean, you've been involved with the senior team for a long time. You're a board member who's football operations, now you're head coach. And it seems to me there's a lot of stability. We talk about stability being a big thing. I think we talked about this last week with Barwon Soccer Club, and Dale Harris has been at the helm there for so many years. But the one thing that I've been really impressed about Bell Park is just that long-term kind of planning, the long-term strategic planning with regards to the senior team, where you're not really concerned too much about, short-term losses or short-term pain, but it's more the long-term gain type of approach to it. Is that a fair summation of what's happening behind the scenes in the boardroom, in the club rooms at Bell Park, as far as what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, I think I said it before. We're probably going about it differently than other teams. So we are looking, I would say, longer term. If you have a look what the club's done off the park in the last 4 or 5 years, there's been a lot of planning and investment into the club itself. So the club rooms have been renovated, and they're just amazing, right? They're fantastic. Yeah. We did all the work with the council in the last few years, and we've had that transition. And since then, the new lights, obviously the change rooms we'll speak about a little bit later. They're now maintaining the ground. There's some really good progress there with the facilities going forward. And I just think that from a long-term perspective, the club has put some great foundations there for us to now really move forward and go ahead as a club, and having some consistency and longevity there. So now I think from a playing perspective, it's the same sort of approach and a squad. So I think it's for us to build a core group of players and give them experience, and then add to that as we can over time. I believe we'll be a competitive unit throughout the season. Like I said last year, I'm just as happy with the squad I've got this year as I was last year. If I'm comparing the squads, but I do believe the competition will be tougher this year, from what I'm hearing on the ground. So that's our challenge. We'll go into that, and each week we face the team we face, and our objective is to try and get the points off them. So, that's what our goal will be.
Yeah, fantastic. I guess when we talk about off the field, and I just jumped out there earlier today, and was able to get some footage of the new club rooms, and they're nearing completion. Still a construction zone there, but there's some photos there from the exterior. And one of the reasons why your first 5 games are all away, which must be quite tough actually on the team, is precisely because of these change rooms. But they are set to be unveiled. Is it the first home game is meant to be round 6? Is that right, against Melbourne City on May the 4th? Is that
correct? Yeah. So we weren't sure exactly when the rooms would be handed over to us. So we took a best guess based on the info that the council provided. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, from my understanding, the club rooms are pretty much finished. It's just some final, defects and that type of stuff that they're just clearing off, paintwork and that type of thing. So I believe the handover will occur very soon. That'll be fantastic. We're really looking forward to utilising the rooms. So brand new, 4 change rooms. We've got some treatment rooms linked to the 2 home change rooms, which is going to be great for us. And it's just another example of the progress that the club's doing. You can see the light pole there and the change rooms there, and everything's sort of improving and getting better around the club from a facility perspective. The ground is looking good. It'll be great. We're not really utilising for the first 5 weeks, so it should hold up pretty well for the whole season. In the second half, when we're going to have some heavy traffic. Yeah,
well, with floodlights, match quality floodlights, brand new change rooms as well, and without a doubt, probably the best grandstand, and certainly a grandstand that offers the best viewing and the most comfort in the in Geelong. It's going to be a spectacular venue for home games. Are there any plans to have night matches or anything like that?
Yeah, look, we've organised both of our home derbies with Surf Coast and Barwon as night games on the Friday night. So we're doing that this season. Our Sunday League teams have utilised night games there. The women have utilised the games as well. It's a bit trickier for us to do it against in the metro because of the 50-kilometre rule, particularly for the night games. But we've definitely got the two home derbies in the second half of the season on the Friday night. So that's great. We're really looking forward to that. And, you know, I guess in that we've got I sort of talked about all the work that was done off the pitch in the last 4 or 5 years. I think what I'm really excited about is maybe turning some of that focus to on the pitch.
Yep.
And you know, helping progress the team forward over these next few years with some, you know, strategic planning and investment in the group. We're looking to do some, you know, past play rounds, get some of the old players back on those Friday nights for the derbies. I think that'll be a great initiative that we'll look to bring into this year, and some other themes, etc., for the home games. We're trying to focus on having the women play after us on a Saturday where we can, so we have 3 games in a row. Just creates a great vibe with the club, and now with the new facilities, it's even better.
Well, speaking of local derbies, it's this Saturday, the first Geelong derby in the state leagues. Big game against Surf Coast. They have really recruited heavily. One of those sides that have recruited heavily, and certainly they are very eager to do one better than last year when they got to the promotion playoffs, but unfortunately lost to the Brunswick Zebras. But that game's on this Saturday night at Banyul Warrior Reserve, 5 p.m. kickoff. What are we expecting, or what are you expecting from Saturday night's game?
Yeah, look, as you said, I mean, they were only 1 point off top of the table, and then they lost through the playoffs. So I probably expect Surf Coast to go about it much the same as they did last year, right? So I would expect them to utilise those recruits and the players they've got. I mean, they scored 90-plus goals last year, so we know that they've got threats up front. They're a hard-working team, and they'll press us pretty hard. So for us, it's about understanding that and dealing with that, but still trying to play our game, still trying to do what we've been working on in pre-season. I'm not the type of coach to sit there and park a bus and hope for a draw. I don't think that's going to improve my players trying to do that. So we've got to learn how to play and compete and trying to get points. And so we'll do that. We'll go out and we'll compete the best we can and, do what we've been working on and hopefully try and get some sort of result out of the game.
Well, I think the last time I took in a Surf Coast and a Bell Park derby at Banyul Warrior Reserve several years ago, and I was actually commenting before the live streams, and it was just the audio streams, and Bell Park ended up winning that. Unfortunately, this weekend I won't be available there, won't be there. So nonetheless, one thing that is certain is it is going to be what I call a humdinger. It's going to be a top-class game. No doubt a big crowd as well. They've got some great facilities there at Banyul Warrior Reserve, and two teams that are really going to go out and play with a lot of heart. So, mate, we wish you all the best for Saturday, but we also wish you all the very, very best for the year ahead. And as sponsors of this podcast, Bell Park have got a clubbing focus, which I'm told we will be doing in a few weeks' time, possibly leading into that first home game, and then hopefully we'll be also be able to have a guided tour, according to your hardworking president, Rose Piratina, a guided tour of the interior of the change rooms. Cannot wait for that. They're looking forward to that.
I'm sure she'd love to take you through there and show off the change rooms, don't you?
Fantastic. Well, we've seen it from the outside. We can't wait to see it from the inside. Michael, thank you for joining us, and keep up the good work that you guys are doing both on and off the park up at Bell Park Sports Club.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good on you. MICHAEL SPASEVSKI from the Bell Park Sports Club. Always a pleasure to speak to Mike. He's certainly been in the game a long, long time, both as a player now as a coach, and certainly loves his football, loves his Bell Park Sports Club. Folks, if you would like to join Barwon Soccer Club, Geelong Rangers and Bell Park in sponsoring an episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, all the details are down the bottom there. Do get in touch with us, preferably via email. Email us at communitysportsmedia@gmail.com, or send us a private message via our Facebook page, the Geelong Region Soccer News Facebook page. We'd love to feature your club. Club would love to have you on board this year. And as you can see, we are trying to do a lot of new things this year with regards to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Folks, don't go away. It'll be time to wrap things up. We've got a very special announcement to be made just after the break. Don't go away. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It is time to wind things up. As we said, it's a very shortened edition today because it is the Easter Monday holiday edition of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, folks. We will be back next week, but we won't be back on Monday due to unavailability next Monday. For next week only, we will be moving the show to a Wednesday night time slot. So we will be on air next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m., not Monday, 8 p.m. Who knows? You might prefer that Wednesday evening time slot. But yeah, get out to a game this weekend. Lots and lots of football action happening your way. Let's quickly just recap what's happening with the state leagues. They're the state league games. Clifton Hill hosting Corai, Sydenham Park hosting Geelong. Geelong Rangers will be home, so Myers Reserve is one option. Barnstone Worth United away to Barn. Surf Coast taking on Bell Park at 5 p.m. at Banyul Warrior Reserve. So you'll be able to jump in from Myers Reserve, head up the Ring Road and get to Banyul Warrior Reserve up the Surf Coast Highway. In State League 5, Gisborne are at home to Surfside Waves. Bendigo City hosting Lara United. Deakin Ducks, they are at home to Ballarat SC. That's at 3 p.m. So there's another option. Or if you want a big crowd, big atmosphere, go to Alco Park in the city's northern suburb of Lara. 3 p.m. kickoff there at Alco Park. North Geelong Warriors hosting the massive supporter-based, boosted Preston Lions, if you like. And then on Sunday, Geelong Galaxy are away to Keilor Park. But as we heard earlier today, Geelong Galaxy are in action on Wednesday night in the Nike FC Cup against Bundoora United at Hume Reserve. Kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Thank you for being a part of tonight's show. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to your company next week, next Wednesday night. Good night and have a great week.